Home, brought to you by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is House to Home, and tonight we are talking about how the internet has affected all of our jobs. Now, the internet certainly has put a lot of news out there, so maybe some of you don't watch us and me as much as we should, but you should. And we are going to talk with my good friend Liz Duenas right now. Liz, why should people still go with realtors? And frankly speaking, has the internet made your job and your profession a little bit obsolete?
Actually, no. The internet has kind of helped our profession because people now are more educated. They're more techie savvy. They've got all the tools in their hands. So we get a lot of people who have already done some research or searching on the internet to look at the different properties. The wonderful part about Guam is we do have a multiple listing service. So all the inventory that are listed on the island are uploaded into a system. So if you go to my website, lizsellsguam.com, you could search for a house. I broke it down so you could search for a house, a condo. You could search based on your budget. But all the inventory is comprised of everything that's on the island that has been uploaded into the system.
Now, does this put a lot of pressure or responsibility on you to become even more tech savvy than you may have been before?
Actually, as we tell all the agents in our office, and you have to know your inventory. Your key to your success is knowing your inventory so that when you have a client that comes to you and say, hey, Jason, I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, I want a garage, I want this, I want that. You have to have an idea of where that property sits. You know, is it in, and of course you ask them what village. And if you know your inventory, you can pretty much narrow down what it is they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And you've told us many, many times on this very show, the difference between you and the job that you provide and a cold, unfeeling, non-human computer is the personal touch that you can deliver.
Right.
So how do you deliver that?
Well, one-on-one, you want to work with something, at least I do, and I'm sure you do, you want to work with someone who is a professional. You want to work with something that knows the system, that knows the inventory, and that could help assist you in finding certain things. On the internet, it's impersonal. You could pull properties, and we were just talking a few minutes ago about photos. So you'll pull 5 properties. Pictures look great, but when you go to the property, it doesn't represent truly what you're seeing. Now, bear in mind, everybody has their taste, their style, and their, you know, how they view things. So if you look at a picture and it looks wonderful, but then when you go look at it, it's in poor condition or it's in fair condition. So we, as the realtor, will help the buyer or the client go through the process of explaining what the expectation should be. You know, I always ask the question, when I'm working with a client, I always tell them, if you see these pictures, it may not totally represent what your expectation. Your expectation might be higher, but when you look at the property in physical form, it might be below your expectation. So, you know, I gauge myself based on their reaction to a property. They like it, they don't like it, I have them rank it. So they tell me it fits my expectation, and then I start to go through my inventory in my mind. Okay, if you like this, you will like A, B, C, D. And then I start to take them to the property. So a realtor would know this. The computer can't really help you in that process.
And because you're local and you like to provide that local touch, you may know their family's history, you may know their buying preferences and everything, and you can kind of like, you know, subjectively factor that into the decision.
And I've worked with the local community. I mean, I grew up here. I've worked with people that are in the corporate field, and because I've traveled all over, I always ask the question, where are you coming from? And sometimes their expectation of a neighborhood may not be the neighborhood they're looking for when they get here. So there's only certain neighborhoods that would fit that profile.
Or you could even tell them something very, very esoteric, like, you know, there's 10 Mary down the street, always bakes, you know, like she bakes these wonderful cookies on Sundays at 4 p.m. and you'll actually get you'll get the smells from that in your place, and that's something a computer would never be able to do.
I'm like a tour guide. Just last week, when I'm taking people around, I say, if you like sushi, you go here. If you like this is where you would go. So pretty much as I drive around, I'm always pointing out the highlights of the neighborhood, you know, and where to go, what to eat, what to do. But that's, again, half a day spirit. That's our island spirit. And I always tell people, you're not going to find this in too many places.
Exactly. Well, making technology work for you, extending that concept. Have you ever done like Skype calls or video chats with customers? And actually, have you actually taken them through on an iPad of properties?
Yes, I have. I would do FaceTime, and we'd actually take them through the property. And while we're talking, I've had a client, his wife was in another location, so he did the same thing. So
Three people in 3 different parts of the world.
Yeah, perfect.
It's
technology at its best.
How has that opened up opportunities for you as a realtor and everything to be able to show people in real time and not say, okay, well, I've got bookings here or anything like that. Just say, hey, if you want to call me, I've got 10 minutes free. I'm here right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, actually, like I said, technology has made a difference, and it's made things more convenient for people. And they want to know who they're working with on the other end of the line as well. So eventually, either we do a Skype. Most of the time, I do FaceTime because I have an iPad. And even when I'm out on the road, I've got my iPad to check properties. So if I'm taking you around and the list that we put together, we've exhausted that, then I'd go in and start doing research as we hit the road. It's wonderful.
All right. Well, making technology work for her, Liz, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, it's not the Terminator. Work with the machines, not against them. But Skynet will launch one of these days, I guarantee you. But that's not until a lot later, and you can go search for John Connor and all that stuff. All right, we will be right back right after this.